Hunter x Hunter's Palace Invasion is a cinematic masterpiece. Now, it was about time that I talk about the climax. The climax of all climaxes. The ultimate climax. Now, what makes Hunter x Hunter's Palace Invasion so great is the grandeur of its scale and the grandeur of its setup, as well as the grandeur of its execution. Now, what do I mean by this? The setup to the Palace Invasion was long, it was arduous, and it was also extravagant in its execution. We found this newest species, the Chimera ants, a species that takes aspects of other species and evolves its DNA, and the fact that they had quickly been growing in numbers and in power. We saw that the Chimera ants spread from their nation of the NGL all over the world, and we had strong groups like the Phantom Troop, and of course real world areas like New York City, and all these places that were completely infested. So the stakes existed. Characters we cared about had already died in Kite and Poco. So with all that exquisite setup in the rear view, we are here at the peak, the finale of Hunter x Hunter, the Palace Invasion. And this starts off as large scale as it can possibly get. We see Zeno Zoldyck and Isaac Netero, the two badass old men that have been established as some of the strongest Nen users in the entire verse, dropping down from a dragon in the sky and attacking head-on from above as the Palace Invasion squad attack from below. Now, oh boy, is this heat. In fact, I can't handle this heat, it's too much, so let's get into it. We've got Isaac Netero there in the sky, just levitating. He goes, "Pito, you little ants, bad move, bitch slap out the way," and then we're on, it's all on. Yuppie's there taking them on, Shoot's having his existential moment of realization, Gon and Killua heading straight for Pito, and Morale is facing off against Poof. And whilst all these battles individually are extremely fascinating, are incredibly well done, and are completely exhilarating from a hype perspective, what makes it so good is the fact that we're not just going through one fight after another, we're switching between them, which keeps the momentum going and keeps this sense of grandeurness intact. It is a large-scale conflict. It is a miniature war, so to say, and the way that it's not just focused on the fighting, the strategy, and the placement of all the movements, it's also the emotions, the mental growth, and the maturity. We see that it flashes between characters in introspective thoughts. We see them grow and change and evolve, as we see, for instance, in Shoot, who's come to become a man, and he's come to become someone that's sure of himself, and Yuppie, a person that's started off as someone who didn't know what was going on, someone stuck in this confusion, this haze of duty, that's now got maturity, and that's now got a sense of responsibility and of perspective, because none of these characters end up the same after this is all over. This is a monumental, unprecedented event, not just in the scale and the importance of how the whole world's balance and ecosystems at play, but of just the emotional maturity of these newly found ants. They are evolving and becoming more human. Netero has this reflection where he says that Meruem is wavering between ants and human. And this is what the Palace Invasion is, testing out which side of that waver they end up on. Poof is adamantly on the side of the ants, whilst Yuppie and Meruem become the humans. So there are differences in their approach, and the differences in how the members of the Palace Invasion either descend to the darkness they're fighting against or rise up to the light is very intriguing. Of course, we've got Gon, who's descending into this rage, as is Killua in a reaction to it, and we've got Knuckle, who's not even willing to fight the enemy anymore because of the deep admiration he feels towards them. And it's the fact that it's able to play on all these themes whilst keeping the action ongoing. Normally in an anime, a manga, a film or a medium, there's a balance between character growth, between exposition and between action, whilst here they're all happening simultaneously. I find it a bit ironic that the theme for the palace invasion is an orchestra. It's a concert, and that's exactly reflective in the events going on. Each character is a musical instrument, and they're all coming together to play the song being that of greatness that Togashi sensei has orchestrated for us. In the orchestra, there's many different pieces, and as we see here, the pieces collide against each other. Teams become confused. For instance, Yuppie and Poof are working against the king to keep the king from his objective whilst they're on the same side, and Gon has a different objective than the rest of the palace extermination squad. He wants to heal Kite and take revenge on Pitou. And it's the fact that everyone's in this for their own reasons. And most of them aren't even for the official reason they're supposed to be there for. Netero just is using this as an excuse to find his rival, someone that can really push him to the death, push him to push past his limits, to have a challenge. And it's this extravagant push for something more that makes this so exhilarating. By the end of it, Yuppie decides he doesn't want to kill Morel. In fact, he doesn't really see them as an adversary. He doesn't know what his objective is, and we see Poof question his loyalty. We see that everyone, it's like this Gungi board where everyone is moving in placements, and it's all these moving pieces that intertwine and make this story so fascinating. We see that Meruem and Netero get in a stalemate. Meruem comes back. He doesn't know what his memory is. Okay, let's take over the humans. Boom, gets his memory back. Oh, never mind, let's protect the humans. Oh, wow, now he's got poison. The camera ants are getting taken off. Oh, well, now Gon's turned evil. He's about to kill Komugi. Oh, dang, Gon's gone. So there's everything that's constantly changing. There's these seismic changes in absolute power. At the start, Pitou is one of the strongest on the field, and at the end, she's a helpless victim. At the start, Yuppie is a coward. At the end, he's the bravest. At the start, Morel is a pillar of strength. At the end, he's a pillar of weakness. In the end, everything is always evolving. And that's the key theme of this arc, and it's encapsulated to the fullest in the palace invasion. This palace invasion really is the final growth spurt of all these ants and of our characters and casts. So just to encapsulate as a whole, what makes the palace invasion so great is the fact that it is purely driven by logic. The characters are all placed in these areas where you know they're going to grow and you know they're going to change. So everything is dramatic, but it doesn't feel unrealistic. And that means that because of the setup, because of the scale of it, because of how I said how unprecedented it is there to make the characters grow and change. They're all in situations that they're uncomfortable. It's past their comfort zone. And Togashi expertly uses that to tell a compelling story. So what do I think will happen? I do not think there will ever be another moment in the series like this, and I don't think there ever will be again in Shonen, because of the unique premise of the Chimera Ant arc, this almost zombie-like storyline that's gotten taken to such a level of nuance and of interest to have it all compiled and finish off, as I said, climax, just like that. So yeah, it really is an awe-inspiring moment of storytelling that's, quite frankly, I've tried to exacerbate it in words, but it is beyond words and it's beyond my understanding and comprehension. This is a piece of storytelling that will only grow on us over time. So this is my tribute to the palace invasion. If you've got a suggestion for videos you'd like me to do, please leave them down below. I do Hunter x Hunter videos every day, so if you like Hunter x Hunter, be sure to subscribe. And that was Heijugon. I hope you've had an amazing day. Peace out.